Good evening. This is KC9UDX. My name is Matt and I welcome you to the 2 a.m. net. The purpose of this net is to promote the use of amplitude modulation and also to establish this part of this band as a place for AM activity in this area. Everyone is invited to listen. Licensed amateurs who can do so legally are encouraged to check in. We listen in the AM mode and transmit in the AM mode where possible. If you cannot transmit in AM, we encourage you to listen in AM and transmit in FM. If you are transmitting in FM, please adjust your transmit frequency a couple kcs above or below from our receive frequency. This facilitates the use of slope detection, that is, demodulating your FM signal with our AM receivers. When checking in, please please announce your call sign in standard phonetics. Again, this is KC9UDX. My name is Matt. And before I take check-ins, I'm going to first recognize and welcome N9CXK Carol. And beyond that, anybody wishing to check in, come now, please.
Good evening, Matt, W9GCC.
All right, got one more. Recognizing Frank, W9JCC. Welcome to the net, Frank. Do we have anybody else?
Whiskey Bravo 9, Bravo, Whiskey Papa.
Got one more. Recognizing WB9BWP. Dave, welcome to the net. Do we have anybody else?
Net Control, KC9UDX. This is November 9, Foxtrot, Sierra Echo, Steve in New Berlin.
All right, we're doing good. Recognizing N9FSE. Steve, welcome to the net. That's 5. Do we have a number 6? Come now, please. All right, hearing none. Well, that's the best start we've had in a while. And I guess we've had a interesting month. But for me, I just work all the time, so it's hard for me to recall everything. Of course, we had the solar activity, probably the strongest solar flare we've had in about 100 years, I think, or at least from our perspective. And things could get even more interesting here. Right now, the sun looks pretty well peppered. It'll be interesting to see if we have any other large sunspot groups come around the horizon. And I guess I can't think of anything else off the top of my head at this point, so we'll go first to the top of the list. Carol, N9CXK, it's your turn from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the net, N9CXK. Well, Nat, I think we're going to not have too long to wait. That massive sunspot cluster should be coming back around in a couple of weeks. So that could make things very interesting again. And there were also some CMEs that were launched by other sunspots that could have an additive effect coming around here. I have to look at the sun again and see where the spots are. I know it's gotten much clearer than it was. At one time it was just dotted with sunspots. But yeah, I think it's going to be an active summer here. Active rest of the year maybe. I think that'd be interesting. I think the only thing I saw benefits on was 6 meters so far. And I don't know if that was because of the solar flux or just because of the time of year or whatever, but There was also 6-meter auroral activity, so that was also good. I did not hear any on 2 meters, but there probably was, and I just missed it. So, as far as things are going, I don't know. My work is slowing down quite a bit. The projects all have to back off when the weather starts to warm up, and we can't get equipment out of service. So the projects have to go on the back burner. But we're doing lots of preparations for the RNC, and also waiting for the civil engineering work to get done on the big Microsoft data center beginning point down there. And after that civil engineering work gets done, then they'll start to install equipment and control houses and things, and then our equipment will start to go in. So we will be busy, very busy in the fall with that, and the other projects will start ramping up. So that'll be a big mess. And let's see, my big tree in front of the shack here is gone. They got that a couple weeks ago. In fact, we didn't even notice it for a few hours. I came home and working in the yard, and I said to my daughter, "Hey, is that tree missing?" And then we agreed that the tree was missing, and I asked my wife, and she hadn't noticed that it was taken down. So they must have come and done it in just an hour or something while my wife was gone. So the tree is gone. The dock is in, waiting for the boat. But also waiting to get started on maybe a couple antenna projects. I really wanted to do a lot of that before the leaves came out on the trees, but too late for that. So I may run everything just as it is, or I may try to add a couple things here during the summer. Looking for a couple of antennas to get up on the roof that aren't too big, but would be multi-useful. So I'd like that. What else is going on? I don't know. That's probably about enough for now. I don't know if any of you guys knew W9LR, but his wife did pass away last week, and the funeral and the visitation was on Monday. So if you didn't know that, you might send your condolences to Bill. She had cancer, but uh-oh. Can anybody hear me?
I can now. You dropped off right after you said she had cancer.
Oh, I thought I let the thing drop and came back up. Okay. Well, she had cancer. W9LR's wife had cancer. She did very well for a long time, but it finally got her, so might send your regards over there. Condolences if you get a chance. N9CXK.
All right, thank you, Carol. Cannot say that W9LR rings a bell. Of course, if that's a 1x2 call. If he had a longer call at some point, maybe I would know him. I don't know. Probably not. But it's sad to hear it either way. And that's interesting about the tree. I wonder if that's scheduled work you had, or if that was something that somebody else decided needed to come down, or what. And I guess it must be nice that work is slowing down. For us at work, everything speeds up at this time of year. It used to go absolutely gangbusters February through April, but now it just gets busy in the summer. And of course, that's when everybody takes vacation. So when you're low in seniority like me, you end up working more. And I have not been on the radio at all, so I did not notice any auroral effects of any kind. I did not get to see the aurora display. I think it was Friday night. I had a very busy week at work, and then Friday I did the best I could to stay awake. Went down and helped out my dad. He's moving back here from Florida. This weekend is going to be very hectic with that. But last week I did that, and then I tried to stay awake, and I just plain could not stay awake for anything. I kind of wish I would have set an alarm for 4 in the morning, because I figured that's when it would be the best. Maybe I could have at least got up and seen a little bit of something, but I did not. I slept very deep and very long. But hopefully there's more to come. And with that, we'll go to Frank, W9JCC, from KC9UDX.
Okay, thanks, Matt, KC9UDX, in the net, W9JCC, good evening to everybody else. And thanks, Steve, for doing the QST. I did remember this time, but I heard you come on there about 5 minutes to the top of the hour or so. And thanks for doing that. And yeah, the solar flow, I check into a 40-meter AM that almost daily, but a couple times a week anyway. And it was just not very good band conditions. I have not heard good conditions ever since that solar flow came around. I just tuned some of the bands before the net here, and I wasn't hearing a whole lot. And I did not know W9LR, so I hear about that his wife passed. Carol. Yeah, the aurora borealis, I was not about to get up in the middle of the night to take a chance on seeing it and risking the clouds being there at the same time. I have seen it very vividly years ago when we used to take the scouts up to the boundary waters. We went up there one year and saw quite a show up there. It was pretty good. And what have we been doing? I haven't done too much HF. I did get my lawn tractor back today. I finally sent it into the service department. There were a few things that had to be done. I needed a year or two put in one of the tires. Because I was having to pump the air to that thing at least once a week. And so they gave it a going over, and then they gave me a going over to run the door, but they did a lot of stuff. I don't know, it was about 3 or 4 pulleys got replaced, a couple of belts, a couple of idle pulleys, and what else? Did the whole deck adjustment on the thing. That was in bad shape. So I just sharpened the blade and all that. So I took it out there. I wasn't going to they brought it back this morning, and I wasn't going to run it until I changed the oil, but then I went for a walk this afternoon. It got pretty nice outside. I hopped on and set the blade at 4 inches and did a 4-inch cup. We had about, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches of grass out there, so we took the top layer off. Anyway, we'll bring it back to net. KC9UDX, W9JC.
All right, thank you, Frank. and find business. I suspect 40 meters will be dead for some time yet. Just looking at the data, spaceweather.gov and spaceweather.com. In fact, right now, if you look at spaceweather.com, there's a pretty good radio blackout just right over the hemisphere here. But your lawn tractor, that reminds me, another winter has gone by and I never found time to sharpen chainsaw blades. So if I don't get that done here soon, I will probably end up buying more, which I hate to do. And with that, next we'll go to Dave, WB9BWP from KC9UDX.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So first off, I guess, W9LR. I may have bought an antenna tuner from him. When was that? Year and a half, 2 years ago? I can't keep track of time anymore. But it's possible that he's the one. Actually doesn't live too far from me. Just a couple of miles to the north. Sorry to hear about his wife. This weekend, before I forget, Saturday, is the free for all, has been free for everyone, parking lot Rock Fest at HRO at the club. Sort of, full time. We don't actually do anything. Nobody actually does anything for that. It's just drive in, sell your stuff, walk around and buy stuff. Starts around 8 or so. I think the gate's always open, so if you really want to get there at 5, and somebody else does too, then I guess you're okay. And then for Saturday is the normal MRAC meeting, which happens at HRO. And the May meeting has always been since at least the 1960s, an auction. So, handful starts at 8, 10 o'clock, come inside, bring in whatever you feel like bringing in to be auctioned off that you didn't sell. Or you're not selling stuff, just bring your money, come inside, and be at the auction, which is also free. No commission, no charges, no nothing. Of course, donations are always welcome, and feel free to tip the auctioneer, because I know who that is. Stand by just a moment. So, that's Saturday. And like I said, don't see a number, don't see anything. Just have to either have stuff to sell and or money to buy. It's not real big, but people usually find something that they want. I spent $400, I think, last year. That's because I bought a radio. Not at the auction. The auction's usually low budget, should we say. And the conditions of the band and the atmosphere and such. Saturday was the Armed Forces Day cross band exercise that they do every year, and it was definitely a test. I did make 2 contacts. They were not easy because signals were up and down really bad. But I did make the Naval Academy and an Amplitude and the Pentagon. but I was not able to receive the extra credit message that they send. Both teletype and CW. The teletype signal I could not get a lock at all, and CW was just a letter here or there that the signal would come up. Friday night, I did notice on 6 meters, I saw a bunch of spots showing up on 6. So I just tuned over and heard some CW and some voice, and they were all very warbly. Like what can happen with weird aurora stuff. So, but Saturday night, there's a guy out of Missouri that broadcasts on 1.86 megahertz in AM mode. He broadcasts every ham audio news thing that there is. He does this all night. I'm not sure what time he starts, and it goes to like 4 in the morning before he turns it off. And usually around this time of year, that starts getting pretty shaky as far as being able, or at least for me, to be able to receive that fairly well. But even though the higher frequencies were pretty much not there on Saturday, I was able to listen to that thing Saturday night, no problem, on 160. So that's kind of the magic of, that's the radio. That's kind of the magic of the different frequencies, I guess. And that's as I've been talking about. So I'll send back to that. This is WP9, WP.
All right, well, thank you, Dave. No problem talking a lot here. And, where was I going to start now? I lost my train of thought. Well, I did spend a bunch of money last year. I did spend a significant amount of money at the auction, and then I went next door and spent some more money afterward. Very, very regrettable. I ended up buying a bunch of digital stuff that I really have no desire to own anymore. Maybe I'll sell that stuff this Saturday. We'll see. Although I don't think I will, because then I have to find something to replace at least one of the radios, and I'm not sure what to replace it with at this point. And I can't make sense out of my chicken scratching here, so I'm sure there was something else I was about to say, and now I have no recollection of what it was. Oh, I was going to say I don't think I've ever heard that, I guess, broadcast on 80 meters, which is surprising. I think I would have heard that. Maybe I have heard it and I don't remember it. Maybe I'll look for that if I ever get an opportunity here. And with that, we'll go next to Steve N9FSE from KC9UDX.
Greetings to most of the regular crowd out here. Nothing unusual to be seen on this net, but at least we get one more month in, and a couple of days before Dayton for me. That's my stuff, and I was watched with much interest from my last Wednesday propagation report on the 513 swap net, keeping an eye on the prognostication, and as they said, it was going to stack up and lay waste to the shortwave spectrum as it did all weekend. Although it's been a while since I've seen that kind of decent intensity. Stuff like that, when I was really wet behind the ears. In green, as a kid, we had some of this, it got me interested in shortwave. For a while, my dad borrowed his brother's, my uncle's, Zenith Transoceanic, R7000, the transistorized one. in for an extended period of time, but it was fun to dial around listening to all the shortwave on there. I thought I broke it once because I turned it on, I heard nothing, dialed around, heard nothing. Same thing a day or two later or something, and I was pretty upset that it didn't work. Finally got around to it after a while and turned it back on and everything worked again, so it must have been way back in the day. My first experience with radio blackout. It was rather unsettling when you're not used to that. This time around I was able to do a lot of tuning around with Kiwis and stuff, and it was amazing to see WWVs missing on all frequencies. There's some of the Kiwis I've been hearing in Europe on some of the Kiwis there. That was pretty amazing. And I've been leveraging a lot of those in the last month, been having a blast listening to long wave and short wave and how busy the activity still is on long wave in Europe. And now I'm a regular listener to Radio Polski on 225 kilohertz. I was listening initially out of UK, and now I listen out of Lodz, Poland, where it's a nice strong signal there. And they got some nice music here and there. Sometimes I'll talk about stuff, and you hear them talking about Chicago plenty, because there's a big Polish population there. I mean, they were just talking about the upcoming DNC convention, I don't know. And other news stuff here and there you hear on there. So I've been having a blast with Kiwis, Michigan, up north, and even West Bend, where I can pick up 1330 better than I can pick up at home. I can pick it up at home, but not real good. Put the Sony on the bathtub and a couple of the plumbing, and that helps pull it in. But right next to 1340, so that's a little tricky for some polka music on Sunday for that business. So all that's been enjoyable. Here's something new. Instead of rehashing everybody's topics, results for the Wisconsin QSO party were just released. Oh, I forgot I could probably have Zoomed their West Dallas Club meeting, but I didn't get around to that. Pleased to report that I was with a team that did fairly decent on their group. I'll let people guess on that if they really want to know. I'll share it on another round. So it's good to see that again. One interesting thing I noted, though, is there's a whole category for RIDI. So CW phone and RIDI, and there's just been a couple of, there was, I don't know, probably no more than 5 RIDI contacts for the whole contest reported. So maybe it's time to, they ought to change that category up, but that's not my business. And W9LR, to go back up the list there. I heard Chris talking about me on 38, my shortened call sign, because I expect the microphone PTT to be psychic. But yeah, I know W9LR, I guess he should be active on HF a bit. He does some of the NutNet stuff. I believe he's out there with those guys, and does a lot on digital here and there as well. So but a thing from him. We've seen him a month ago, and we'll see him in Ohio if he's up for it. And sad to hear about his wife, so it's definitely give my condolences when I next see him. And let's see here, solar stuff. Oh yeah, I was just at the site here, and some tenant moved out, and they left the size jets everywhere and a royal mess. We try to keep the place neat, and there goes people being less than craftsman-like. But what can you do? Renters. Signals are good again tonight, and I got 30 over S9 for Matt, I got 10 over for Carol, 60 over for Frank, 30 over for Dave, and that's all very nominal. I think that's probably not changed from last month. With that, I have probably dream of plenty more after some more topics get poured in here, but there's my round. If you want, Matt, you can call for more, and I can stand by also and give a second call, see if anybody else hears the net tonight. This is MIF-SE, back to net. Over.
All right, thank you, Steve. Well, you mentioned the Zenith Transoceanic. I've got a number of those. Mine are all the same model. Mine are H500, I think, is the designation. Buddy of mine found one. I don't remember how he found it. It was in very bad shape. Gave that to me about 20 years ago. I cleaned it up and fixed it up and put it on the countertop in the bathroom, and that's where it still is to this day. I don't use it in there anymore. The electrical noise in this house has made it impossible to use it in that location. But prior to that, I used to listen to it every morning before when I was getting ready to go to work. I would listen to I don't remember the name of the shortwave broadcast, but it was out of Australia. I think it's ABC. And I guess my introduction to shortwave radio came in 1991, which is surprisingly late, I guess. I had been playing around with radio, building stuff and tuning around and not understanding what I was hearing, much longer than that. But in 1991, I bought at a rummage sale a 1947 Ward's Airline console, and that did not have full coverage, but it had quite a bit. And I remember turning that on and listening the first time. I was pretty shocked. Used to listen to WWV, of course, a lot, and CHU, and the BBC World Service, and of course there was just a plethora of stations everywhere up and down where you could tune that thing. I used it in a basement with the antenna, built-in antenna, and I picked up all manner of things. And it was within years of that I heard my first radio blackout too. I remember that. I remember very, very well thinking something was wrong with the radio, and it was not. Everything came back eventually. And with that, I'll see if we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Anybody wants to check in, come now, please.
Well, we'll give it a try here. AB9DW.
Well, Dale, that is the clearest I've heard you, and I can't remember how long. Recognizing AB9DW. Dale, welcome to the net. I will turn it over directly to you. Go ahead and take a turn from KC9UDX.
Well, Matt, we're right at the noise level over here, so I have a hard time hearing when you turn it over. But maybe Frank or Steve or Dave could let me know whether they got it.
You're good. Go take it.
All right, thanks, Steve. Well, that was kind of interesting few months there. Just the things with the radio. Actually, not with the radio itself, but with some side pieces. I sold my ST991, so I'm using my TS2000 this evening. So that also has a maximum 25 watts on AM. And I'm speaking on my aisle mic through a mic switch now. I've added a mic switch to the shaft here. And that's working out well, although I've run into a problem with the interface for the neighbor's equipment. I have the correct cable, but unfortunately the foot switch adapter does not work through the switch. I'm going to have to figure that one out. Probably have to make my own adapter for a system or a system box. And let's see what else is there. I purchased an attenuator box for my RX-50X. Just in case I decide to use it as a fan adapter, I want to make sure that you don't have any strong transmission signals nearby. So we put an attenuator switch there. So, yep, we've been doing a few things around the shaft, which is updates and that kind of thing. So there you go. For now, I'll send it back to that control, 89 DW.
All right, thank you, Dale. I will do my best here to yell into the microphone. Hopefully you can hear me. But your signal is incredible tonight. I don't know if it's the radio. Maybe it's that TS2000 just does a better job. I have no idea. Maybe it's the microphone. I don't think your signal is much different than normal. In fact, it is not. Everybody's signal tonight is exactly normal. But I can hear you crystal clear. I can make out everything you're saying, which is certainly not the way it's been. But that's good, and we're at the bottom of the list again. Let's see if we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Come now, please. Hearing none. Steve, if you want to go ahead and try, we'll see if we can get anybody that can't hear me.
All right. This is 9FSC with the 2 a.m. net, taking a big stick call for anyone anywhere that would like to check into the monthly 2 a.m. net. Call now. Nothing further heard, Matt, either says regular or preamp on. N9FSC, back to back.
All right, thank you, Steve. In that case, we'll go back to the top of the list. Carol, N9CXK from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the net, N9CXK. Well, good. Yeah, I'm hearing everyone. AB9DW was perfectly legible here tonight, and that is different. So his transmitter is different or working differently. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. The more the merrier. And yeah, typically Aurora does have it's a real staccato sound, and obviously kind of fades in and out, but it's mostly like a raspy sound. Yeah, we heard that on 6 meters. I did not hear it on 2 meters, and I'm sure it should have been there, but yeah, I think we have plenty more to look forward to. I think it's going to be interesting. Space weather. Today was another day with very, very high solar flux. Well, I think you'd call it solar flux. At least they said their protons are just filling the atmosphere from all the different CMEs that came at the same time. And there were some, after the big ones, there were still some more that were coming, and they were going to keep everything ionized for several days. So I think that's what you're seeing now. Yeah, there were a couple on Friday, Saturday. I didn't hear a thing on HF anywhere. And I tuned all the bands, and I just didn't hardly hear a peep anywhere. So then I just set up the radios on 6 and 2 and let them sit there. But we were in and out a lot as usual, and Mother's Day was not a radio day, so. Oh, okay. Lights out here, but it's Tuesday night. It's bass fishing night out here, so there's still guys in their boats going by hunting for bass. I think they're just about done now, because I don't think you could see them even if you caught them. So, yep, spending most of our time outside now, planting and taking care of the gardens and things, and still getting some of the lawn furniture and stuff out. pretty busy time of year. Mother's Day was really nice. We got to go out to brunch, and then we ran into Milwaukee to see my mom. And she's 94, but she's doing pretty good. She's completely with it and knew everything that was going on, so we were happy. What else was I going to talk about? Well, we could talk about Michael Cohen. We could talk about Donald Trump. Maybe Stormy Daniels. If you guys want to get into that, that would be very interesting. And then we could talk about your families after that. But, no, I don't have much to report. I'll tell you what, I keep a log of all the weather information for the Badger WeatherNet and for sending my precipitation data into NOAA. Hang on. And the numbers on the highs and the lows every day are really all over the place. I'll say that. It's a very interesting looking log sheet. So and the wind apparently never dies down. I can pretty well attest to that, but looking at the readings and things, yeah, the wind doesn't die down. So I guess if you're putting up antennas, you better make sure you put up the hurricane model, because I think that's going to be the same. But I'm very extremely pleased with my horizontal meter antennas. They SWR has not changed a bit since I put them up before the winter and potted them with RTV silicone, and they have been perfect. So I'm really, really happy that that's working. I don't anticipate going up to change any of that, but yeah, pretty happy there. And I guess I wish I understood all those remote receivers that you can listen to. I guess I might have done it once or twice, but I haven't done it in forever. I have a Drake R8, and I have a ICOM R75, and there just isn't that much to listen to for me anymore. All the stations have gone away. You know, I did most of my listening walking my dogs back in the camp behind my house, at the old house, and I carried a Grundig, I think it's a Grundig 100, little analog shortwave portable. You used a couple of penlight batteries, and I heard more stations on there than I ever heard at home. I heard every one of those Eastern European countries, and Australia. I can listen to Australia every day, and yep, those were good times. That was 10, 15 years ago, and all the stations were on the air, and I could hear them. I knew just when Radio Romania. I listened to them every day, I think, when we were walking. All gone now. You can still hear it on WRNO or wherever it is, the other one, the Florida station. But, yeah, not WRNO. That's New Orleans. But, the other stations in Florida. Anyways, I better turn it back. I'm still transmitting. N9CXK.
All right, thank you, Carol. And I also remember listening to Radio Romania all the time. And the one from Moscow, too. Don't remember exactly what that was called. I still got the last issue of Monitoring Times somewhere here. I sure missed that that publication. And as for wind, I guess I can only speak from my experiences at my home here. Yeah, the wind never stops, and I'm always getting wind damage. Although that's gotten a lot less in recent years, mostly because I stopped repairing stuff and it's kind of fallen into a position where it doesn't take damage anymore, I guess. I think the current radio blackout state is caused by a flare from that big sunspot group. I think it's 3664. Yeah. Having just gone over the horizon, it put out a flare bigger than anything when it was pointed in this direction. I think that's what we're having. At least that's the explanation on spaceweather.com. And with that, we'll go to Frank W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, thanks, Matt, KC9UDX, and that W9JCC. And copy everybody. Fine. Dale, you're coming in here 5 and 6. I'm sure copy, no problem at all. So we're doing well. I went up to spaceweather.com and I saw this map that showed North and South America with this red, colored red all the way down to almost the tip of South America, and this is not supposed to be good under 30 megahertz, I think they said. And I guess it depends on where that thing comes over, because the rest of the world seemed to be not affected. But I left it on there for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden I got this notice that said Windows Defender Firewall has blocked some features of this app. I didn't allow it in. I wasn't sure if it was safe or not. Probably is, but I'll take a look at it upstairs in the computer another time. You gave another website there too, Matt, and I think it was spaceweather.org. I'm not sure about the last part if that was .org or not. And so selling stuff, I don't sell a lot of stuff, but I've got a TH6DXX antenna that I took down years ago. It's been up in the attic of the garage, and I've got absolutely everything for that thing except, well, not except, and with a brand new truss cable. I only didn't use that truss cable with the antenna I put up subsequently because it was not stainless steel, but it's I got the balun and everything to go, and that could go for a good price if anybody's interested, but I don't know if there's many people putting up towers anymore. So it's a 24-foot boom, so it's a nice, kind of mid-sized beam. I've worked all over the place with that, South Pole and McMurdo Station and ships out in the Mediterranean and all kinds of stuff, so worked pretty well. The garden, I've got to get out there, see what it tries out. My wife wants the onions put in, so we'll see if we do that pretty soon. But tomorrow I've got to get the lawn tractor oil changed and grease fittings taken care of and so forth. So, okay, I am going to sign out of me listening for a little bit now, but I'm going to say 73 to everybody. Good hearing everybody tonight. The same report was you're 40 over. Carol was 5 and 8. Dave 5 and 7. Steve SLC 25 over 9, and Dale 5 and 6. And I must have timed it out there. I never reset the timer here on the TS 2000. So I'll say 73. I'll listen for a little bit, and then I'll be on KC9UDX, net control with W9JCC.
All right, thank you, Frank. And of course, thank you for being here again this month. It's always good having you here. I will say 7-3 to you. And also, you asked about the website. It's spaceweather.gov, as in government. It's mostly raw data. It's not necessarily, well, I guess I don't have it in front of me right now to say for sure, but I think it's stuff that, unless you're expecting to look for it, it's kind of hard to read, but it is there. And a lot of the information on spaceweather.com comes directly from there. And of course, Dr. Tony Phillips does a very good job of interpreting the data and explaining things. And with that, next we'll go to Dave, WB9BWP from KC9UDX.
Okay. Well, Frank is still there. I better mention this. Frank thinking that antenna, that value could be going up on that antenna as MFJ fades into the distance there. Well, I'll talk more about that, I guess, in just a moment. When I was at MFJ, we had one of those exact antennas on top of I think it was about a 4-story building. Granted, we were 2 blocks from the lake, so the elevation wasn't terribly high, but still, the antenna did a good job down there. But yes, MFJ is supposedly shutting down manufacturing at the end of this week. For those of you that haven't heard that story, they have sort of a new website. The main page looks different when you go there, and as you start looking at things, it now says out of stock, 2 left, 1 left, 8 left, that kind of thing. But stores, whatever they might have, there was one thing that I looked at that was out of stock at the factory, but HRO does have some. But the stores don't tell you how many they've got. They just say, yeah, we got some. So I don't know. Nobody knows what's all going on there. Supposedly, there have been offers made, but not at the money that he wants. Plus, I guess the real sticking point, and it certainly would be for me. If you buy the company, he wants you to keep manufacturing in Mississippi. Anyway, and Matt, since you mentioned monitoring time, there is a website called worldradiohistory.com, one word, World Radio History, that has a whole lot of broadcast and recording publications, but they also have a big section of ham stuff, hand bites. And one of the things they have is they have a complete PDF archive of all of monitoring time, as well as Ham Radio Magazine, 73 Magazine. Hopefully you never know, they'll have CQ Magazine, since that really doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, on Popular Electronics, I think is out there, I snagged a bunch of stuff off of that website already. And also, I guess tied into that is just recently I've heard of, and I went over and looked, it's a paid-for subscription thing. But a guy that was like the last editor or something of Monitoring Time has an online-only magazine, or a PDF-only magazine called the Spectrum Monitor, which I guess is pretty similar content-wise. So, yeah, and Dale, I'm going to chime in too, even though he's only a couple miles away from me, but I think his signal's best that I've heard in some time. So, maybe it is the radio, and I can say that because I got one of those too. With that, this is WB9, BWB.
All right, thank you, Dave. And I guess it hadn't occurred to me to think that Spectrum Monitor was still going. I remember when they first announced that, when they said they were shutting down Monitoring Times and switching over to that. I never even looked into it, I guess. I'm kind of surprised to hear that that's still going. That was a long time ago now. And I've not heard of that other website. I'll have to check that out. And otherwise, I did forget to bring up MFJ. Glad you brought that up. It doesn't affect me directly, but it kind of bothers me that that's going away. I gave up on MFJ a while ago. I bought 2 things from them. Well, it was probably more than that. And everything I bought had some kind of major defect, so I said I'm not doing this ever again. The only thing that is semi-workable, and I still have it, is a digital clock, but it's useless as a clock. I keep it because I've got a nice 24-hour analog clock that keeps perfect time, and next to that I keep the MFJ clock as a calendar, because as a clock it loses several minutes a day and it's just not useful. And speaking of time, I just happened to notice earlier we've got about a 10-second delay on YouTube, which is kind of longer. Excuse me. It's much longer than it has been, I think, in some time, so I'm not sure what changed there. I did happen to just look at the video right now, and there's no comments turned on, so I don't know if they quit allowing me to have comments on live streams, or if I turned something off or they turned something off. I guess I'll look into that. Not that I really normally look at the contacts anyway, but once in a while I do. Comments. It's helpful if somebody wants to mention that they can't hear me or something. And next we'll go to Steve and 9FSE from KC9UDX.
Alright. I was interrupted by a phone call after last call out for stations after Dale there, and it was my brother and sister-in-law. They're going to join us down in Xenia for the DARA convention. And first time for them for that. Telling them about appropriate attire for the day. Anything from cold and foggy in the morning and rain showers to thunderstorms. So we're in hot, humid weather. So got them up to speed a little more. Talked to my brother this afternoon some more on that too. Programmed up a radio. And sister-in-law's in a ham, but she may be well on her way because she'll be hearing a GMRS radio, and I got a channel programmed up for her on one of my radios here already too for that. So looking forward to that. That should be a treat as usual. So I missed a lot of that, but yeah, very good on all of our topics today. See, let's start with Dale. Yeah, maybe it's got that little better modulation on the 2000 or something. You sound the same to me here though. So either one worked pretty good to me, but it's a good night. Good signals from everyone tonight, so I can't complain at all. So that's great stuff. And actually, I did hear Carol talking a little bit when I got off the phone. I think about Radio Romania, WRNO, which is kind of humorous because this morning I got a social media post about a abandoned transmitter site, AM broadcast site in Detroit, and it's very Art Deco, and it looked really cool. I got buddies into Art Deco looking stuff, so I sent that off to him, and it jogged his memory about some of the shortwave stations I used to listen to, and occasionally he may have too, and he mentioned WRNO, and I says, yeah, they're still out there, but they're not playing rock like they had way back in the mid-80s or whatever. At least they're still on the band, so that's kind of neat. Didn't know much on what Frank had, and the second round here we had MFJ topics from Dave and Spectrum Monitor. I wonder if it's a paid subscription or not. And I want to revisit MFJ here, and a lot of hams are just wringing their hands, and it's like, well, there's still plenty of people that make almost all of that stuff that MFJ made, but just maybe not at the same levels and all that. The hams will survive just like their manufacturing has, but it's amazing the depth and breadth of all the products in the NMFJ catalog and how much it's in the HRO catalog and the QSTs. I finally caught up with my QST from June. Finally got my passwords ironed out there, so I got access to that in June here. I should probably review the last couple months. And so it'll be interesting to see how all those publications start shrinking with that. See what other sources there are for replacement items of everything from dog bone insulators to big amplifiers and antennas and such. So, you see MFJ in almost most shacks, but not in some of these fancy DX or contest stations. I was looking at one of the announcements for Ham Convention, and there's the guy from DX Engineering there, and his picture, the one shack in the background. I don't know if it's just his contest station or his home shack or what it is, but I didn't see any MFJ stuff on on his table there. But I got plenty of MFJ stuff, and I thought it was always great, that oftentimes there'd be something just a little wrong or something, and they'd be quick with getting parts to people, and it's a great way for beginners to learn how to fix things. So, let's see, your band was also on the Zenith, so yeah, pretty cool on the Word console and the other stuff. So I found my own version of my uncle's radio, so I got my own 7000 at home, and that still plays really good. It's a really wild transistor radio, and I think all the transistors are probably germanium in there, and they're socketed, so it's quite the show inside that case, and plays very nice, and the sound is incredible when I run that unit. But usually I'm running a Kiwi or the HL2 or somebody else's Kiwi around the road because they got way better antennas than I have out. So it's like it's a treat to listen to some of those and to see how things are in different parts of the world. It's rather amazing to me. Let's see here. That's about all the topics I had. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I wrote one thing down. But it's nothing. Maybe something on the crossband test. That's pretty good. I think they did really good for how the band conditions were. And I think the other thing I didn't mention about the radio blackout, I said no WWV, but I couldn't believe it. Right next door to one of those channels, there was Brother Stewart blasting right in. Nothing is out of the ordinary. I thought, well, here we go. It's got a message from God or something. With that, back to that. MIFSE.
All right, thank you, Steve. And if I recall correctly, Brother Stair passed a long time ago. I think that's his widow is still broadcasting that stuff, unless I'm thinking of somebody else, but I'm pretty sure that was him. And yeah, he's never off the air. And Spectrum Monitor, I'm positive, was a pay service when they started it. I couldn't tell you what it's like now. I mean, I haven't looked into that in at least 15 years. I remember when they did first started, you had to pay to access it, but that was back in the days when paywalls were stupid easy to get around if you knew what you were doing. I would have paid for it if I thought it was something I would read, and I guess I didn't. I don't like reading things online. I don't like reading PDFs. I like to have paper copies, so that just doesn't interest me like that. Speaking of which, I still get paper QST. They sent out a thing asking if I still wanted it that way, and I said yes, which I kind of feel bad about because I never read it anymore, but I figure at some point I will get time to read that stuff, and I don't want to have to go looking for digital archives to read it. And that reminds me, my daughter signed up for and paid for It was either QEX or the National Contest Journal or one of them, in lieu of getting QST because we already get it here. And it just occurred to me that they have never sent that out. She paid for that and we've never got it. I don't know if they even still send that out or anymore or not. I'll have to look into that, I suppose. And with that, next we'll go to Dale, AB9DW, if you can still hear me. AB9DW from KC9UDX.
All right, so Matt, AB9DW here. Well, I agree with you, Matt. I am much more of a paper manual reader than a PDF manual reader. That's essentially because the manuals are usually set up in a way where they have a brief introduction of the topic in the first section. The second section they go into detail, and in the third area they maybe have a table of commands and or settings and so on and so forth. And so there's all those references. And so when you're in a PDF, unless the PDF has hyperlinks, it's really difficult to get back and forth in a PDF document. So I usually print the document, and it's a whole lot easier to get back and forth in a manual than it's on paper. And again, there's exceptions for that, but that's generally my concern. And all the people that have had issues with MFJ, the people that like to badmouth MFJ on social media, well, now they don't have to worry about that anymore, do they? All the people that have high gain or Swiss Press or Vectronics or Americana or Mirage, unless those companies are purchased by somebody else who's MFG is going to sell their blocks, it'll be interesting to see how that happens. And I've had for the longest time in Americana AMP, and probably just last year I purchased a little isolator switch for that, and that's an MFJ. And then as I mentioned in my first transmission, I now have a fuser switch, that's a microphone switch, and that's an MFJ. So really the reason why I purchased that unit is because MFJ announced that they were running out of switches, and I wanted to make sure that I had them. So that I wouldn't have trouble getting it. So anyway, so I have it now. Now we'll just ask how the company goes. And again, so we try and make the auction this coming Saturday. This last Saturday I was at Madison for my granddaughter's graduation from nursing school. So that was a lot of fun, getting into and out of Camp Randall Stadium with 20,000 people. The graduating class itself was something like 12,000 folks. It was an amazing amount of people. And I'll say 7-3 to Frank because he's not pretty much in position again. And with that, we'll be back to that control zone. And that's 89 Beatles.
All right, thank you, Dale. This is going to be hard to get used to it. I can actually hear you. It's pretty amazing. And sometimes PDFs have links, and that's handy. But more often than not, I find it's not handy, and the links are broken or they don't work or whatever. I had one recently like that. I bought a new accordion, and the only way to get the manual is to download it. And I wanted to print it, but I ran out of paper. So I ended up buying some more paper, and I did finally print it, and then my toner ran out. But in the meantime, I tried reading it in the PDF, and there were links in there, which would have made it very handy to use, but the links do not work. And navigating that particular PDF is, I guess, the worst case scenario. The layout does not work well as a PDF, which is unfortunate. Something else to note, when I got that PDF, I thought, hey, I'll just send it to Office Depot and have them print out a nice booklet. Well, you cannot do that with single copies anymore. And the price has gone way up. I think now the minimum quantity is 10. And I think it would have been around $80 a piece if I had done that. So that's not even an option anymore. I used to do that once in a while when I would get a large manual. I would have them print it out and bind it, and it was a little bit expensive, but it wasn't unreasonable. And now I think it's just not something I'm going to do anymore. And we're at the bottom of the list. Let's see if we have any last-minute check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Come now, please. All right, hearing none. My voice is wearing out, and actually I'm kind of getting tired, so I hate to do this, but we'll do the 7-3 round. But of course, there's no rush. Take your time, and we'll finish when we finish. We'll start out with Carol. N9CXK, it's your turn on the 7-3 round.
N9CXK. Well, monitoring times. If there was anything I ever loved as much as that, I don't know what it was. I had every monitoring times issue from the paper tabloid ones from the beginning all the way to the end, and nobody wanted them. I went through and I cut out articles through all the years. I went through all of them and I cut out all the articles I wanted about antennas and, monitoring and stuff like that. I had them all in a scrapbook, and then I guess I ended up throwing them away. Nobody wanted them at all. And then I subscribed to Spectrum Monitor right then and there, and I've been a subscriber ever since. So I just renewed for 2024 back in December, and I think it's as good as Spectrum, Monitoring Times. It's as good as the Monitoring Times, but it has more stuff in it. It really encompasses just about every aspect of the radio hobby. So, Ken Reitz. Ken Reitz was one of the main contributors in Monitoring Times. He's one of the editors, and he picked it up, and he's been the editor ever since. And I've corresponded with him a couple times. Really a nice guy, and I never have any trouble with the subscription, never. And I have been known to print out large portions of the magazine so that I can just sit and pore over them, because, I don't really appreciate reading stuff online too much. It's okay until you bump something, and then you have to find where you were and find what page you were on and all that. But Spectrum Monitor is a wonderful publication. I don't have anything to complain about there at all. There really aren't too many ads, and it just covers everything. So you'd be very happy if you subscribe to that, I'm sure. Because I never ever subscribed to QST, and I used to get copies from a guy at work, and I'd read them, and it was like 50% advertising at least. And they couldn't decide whether they wanted to go way over your head or go to super basics. So I don't know. I didn't care for QST. CQ I never cared for, because all it is a bunch of contest reports. There's like nothing in CQ. Just contest reports. So I never subscribed to that. I kind of liked 73 magazine. That was fun. And Popular Communications. Remember that? That was kind of a offshoot of Popular Electronics. But Popular Communications, that was, what's the guy's name? Tom Nitel. Tom Nitel ran that, and he ran a lot of things like F9 magazine and a lot of other stuff. I think I still have my shortwave listener registration numbers, too. And what was the other one? Satellite Times. From Monitoring Times came Satellite Times, and that's when I was really into all that. So I think I have every issue of Satellite Times, and I still have that in a binder here. It was very cool. I mean, it's totally all out of date now, but that was very cool. So, yes, we have lots of auroral activity to look forward to, I think. Yeah, everybody sounds great tonight. There's no noise at all. And, yeah, kind of looking forward to what's going on. There goes the transmitter. Doesn't say anything to me, but it goes off. So there. But, Dale, yeah, I think it's your radio. It's just sounding really good. And you've got more audio, much more audio than you did before, because you're always very weak out here. I'm in East Troy, and you were kind of you were a weak signal, but then you didn't have much audio, and now you have lots of audio, so it sounds perfectly fine. And I'm always messing around here. I've got my mic gain at a certain level now. My RF only goes up to 20 watts, but I'm using a little more mic gain than I did before, so I'm hoping that's okay with everybody. And my watt meter here shows me about 20 watts, so I guess that's the right thing. Yeah, I'm trying to get myself back into shortwave listening, but it's hard to find things. I used to listen to Radio Havana every day, and on 6.0 megahertz, Radio Havana has been almost unintelligible for a couple of months at least. Actually, ever since Arnie Coro died, CO2KK, he was a big contributor there, and ever since he died, I think he must have been helping him out or something, because the transmitters, it's like 20 over 9, but I can't understand anything they're saying. It's muffled, it's weak, it's scratchy. I don't think they have anybody listening to it. It's on 6 megahertz, and it's just unusable. So I try to find them on other frequencies, and sometimes I do, and it works good. But, yeah. And I've been listening to 6070 CFRB from Toronto. I used to listen to them in the old days, and I listen to them now. They're a talk radio station, and it's really kind of fun to hear how the people on the other side live. And with that, Frank, I'm sure you're gone, but 73, it's nice to hear you tonight. Nice to hear everybody, and everybody have a good rest of the week. Keep looking up. Who used to say that? That was Horkheimer, right? Channel 10. N9CXK. 73, everybody. I'll be listening out.
All right, thank you, Carol. I will say 7-3 to you, and that was Jack Horkheimer, but I think you're not allowed to say that unless you're wearing a members-only jacket. I may still have one of those. Well, it's good to hear about Spectrum Monitor, but again, it's something online that just, I don't know. I can't even find time to read printed stuff anymore. I don't know how I would ever find time to read that. But I suppose I'll miss it when it's gone. Arnie Coro, I had no idea he was gone. That's a shame, and I think you're right. I'm pretty sure he was doing something helping them out. I seem to remember him talking about that. So that's probably what happened there. That's unfortunate. Well, it's getting really hard for me to talk anymore. But next we'll go to Dave, WB9BWP. It's your turn on the 7-3 round.
Okay. 73 to those of us that are still here, or anyone else listening somewhere. Oh, it's good to hear the endorsement of Spectrum Monitor. Maybe I'll have to look into that. Like I said, I just found that, I don't know, a few weeks ago maybe. And since CQ stays away. Of course, that was after I gave them some more money, so, oh well. Matt, the magazine you're probably thinking of that your daughter Astro on the air, that they offered that as the alternative to QST, and the whole computer system has been not done well over there at ARL, and it probably wouldn't hurt to give them a phone call and say, hey, what's the scoop here on that, and get that straightened away about the magazine. They already, in an email that I received regarding the auction Saturday, your name, I think, was volunteered to be helping out Carter with the money. So that's all I'll say about that one. Let's see. I'm just looking at my. I think it was Steve that mentioned about some of the MFJ stuff. Find alternative sources. He just happened to mention dog-bone insulators. If you're going to put up wire antennas, now I always talk about using electric fence wire, and that scares some people because it's aluminum, and we won't get into that. But no matter what kind of wire you're using, you go to a farm and fleet farm, many of those places, and you go down that aisle where they have the electric fence stuff, and you can get bags of insulators. You can get, in some cases, the exact same insulators that are sold to hand for a couple bucks a piece. You can get a bag of 10 for like $5 or $6 or something. So there's lots of material for building antennas available. As far as some of the other stuff, I remember, stand by just a moment, I had an MFJ antenna analyzer. I actually still have it here. It finally died. But every year or two or so, the battery holders would always fall apart, would always break. And 1 year it was that Superflex, 1 year it was that Dayton. And I walk up to the MFJ counter table, their display, and I start explaining my plight to whoever it was that would be standing there. And he wouldn't even say anything. He would just walk away for a minute, reach under the table, come back, and give me a new battery holder. And I would say, well, how much? He goes, nah, nothing. I think there were 3 or 4 battery holders over the years from them. It died for other reasons, but it also broke the battery holder again. So anyway, I think I've covered everything on my list, and I've certainly said plenty. We've all said plenty. This is always a good mess here. And everybody sounds good tonight, too. Even on AM. See, you don't have to be an FM to have a good signal. 73.2 all. And maybe we'll see some of you on Saturday. Steve, if you're doing your net tomorrow night, play it up. Free, open to everybody, all that stuff. This is WB9, BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. We'll say 7-3 to you. And I do plan to be there Saturday, but I'm not sure how it's going to go. I will have a very busy weekend, and, well, like I say, I plan to be there, but that could change. The insulators, I found the same thing. The exact same ones you can buy at a Hamfest for, $3 a pop. For $5 you get a bag of 10 or whatever. But I guess I haven't looked at Fleet Farm. When I would look for them at Farm and Fleet, every time I would look for them, they were out of stock. I think I only managed to buy a bag of them one time. And I do need to get some more I have a lot of wire antennas, and I like to leave the insulators attached with the ropes attached. And I guess I forgot before, Dale had mentioned, I think it was Dale, people complaining about MFJ, and there sure are a lot of them. And that was the first thing that popped into my head when I found out MFJ was closing down. Was, what are all these people going to complain about next? They're going to have to move on to something else. And anyway, I've had bad luck with MFJ, but I don't badmouth the company. I guess I just made it a point not to buy anything else of theirs, which might have been a mistake. I'm sure they do make things that probably were better than the things I bought. Oh well. And next we go to Steve. Steve, it's your turn on the 7.3 round N9FSC from KC9UDX.
Alright, thanks, Matt. And we're going to hopefully not belabor this too bad. So I'm going to head back home with stuff. I got a coil pack that probably should get changed out. It was pretty rough, but I fished it out over Sunday and dried it. Did some with the alcohol and dried it out. Got the whole wall dried out, but I think there's still some coming in the coil pack. Intermittently goofy. Either that or the mice that took up residence in the top of the engine were chewing on wires that I have to still track down. Hopefully that isn't the case. So. That was after Friday of just having all kinds of service done to the car. But at least it still gets me to work and back, and I still got the truck. Work on the other car. All kinds of usual mayhem there. And paper. I was mentioning about paper magazines, paper manuals, all that being nice, and yes, for sure. But everything's going that way. It's like got that QST through January, and then I was almost done reading it because of that. But caught up with the June edition for some of it at least, and determined there wasn't too much in the field day guide that they had there. I get more out of the field day packet, I'm sure, from now on. Other notes I can't even read. My scratched out her granddaughter is graduating. That's got to be neat to see that big crowd at Camp Randall. Can't imagine a big graduation ceremony like that, but they must be good at that out there and do it every year. So. And then back to Carol talking about PopCom, and I used to subscribe to that religiously and read that. Read and learned a lot from that for sure. And before that, the Tom Nigel's S9, and one that wasn't mentioned out here was one my parents subscribed to me for, and there was something called Elementary Electronics. I think that might have been on the same line as Nigel and Bernspach type publications, and there was a lot to learn out of that too. I guess before that there was the big Popular Electronics. Got some old ones of those, in addition to those. The IMSA computer and stuff like that on the cover. That one I never got live, but I got a copy of it, found at a bookstore or something. And radio Cuba sounded really cruddy sometimes. Sometimes I don't even think they have audio. It's just pretty rough. So, not a big listener to 6 megahertz there anyway, but sometimes I'll tune around. I'll look for some pirates up at the top end of 6 megahertz there, and so between tuning through everything. Every other usual haunt on HF of ham bands and whatnot. And Dave, don't worry, we mentioned it last week, we'll mention it again, but not making Dayton. I'll try not to call it the Hayden Dayton. But I keep hearing the almost slip out. So hopefully weather's great, and there's a great turnout for that event. So we'll be pushing that as well as stuff. And I guess the next Ham Fest after that, which will be before our next net, will be June 1st or 2nd, something like that. The Green Bay Hamfest. Don't know if I'll make it up to that. And sometime early June also is the Pre-Fest in Lyons, and I'm sure a few things going on in Illinois, one or two down there. And before you know it, it'll be time for the Summer Classic, South Milwaukee Amateur Radio Club swap there at the American Legion Post. Forgot that on the flyer this year. We all know it's the American Legion Post. It's great that they can host that event because it's probably the best in the state. So that should cover all of the topics beaten to death pretty well. And look forward to reconvening. I almost thought I missed this net because one of our late sessions being the 14 days on, because we started with this month with a Wednesday, so I thought I swore that we were two Tuesdays in last Tuesday, but luckily not, so I was able to make this happen. So good to hear everyone, and we'll say 73 and 9 FSC.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And of course, thank you for being here and helping out. And it's getting really hard for me to talk. Oh, now I derailed my train of thought, too. Most of those magazines, I do remember seeing them in stores. Never really read them. Always knew they were there, though. Otherwise, there was something else here I wanted to respond to, and I cannot recall for the life of me. But next we'll go to Dale, AB9DW. It's your turn on the 7-3 round.
Hello, sir, Matt. Yeah, Dave, I'm aware of the help of the Carter on Saturday, so I'll definitely do that. And the Carol, two things happened. One is I went from an older FT 990 water years ago, which only put out 20 watts for the AM on 2 meters, to the CS2000, which puts out 25. So I don't think that's as much of a big deal, but the bigger deal is rather than using the handheld mic, I'm using a high 781, which I think provides a better signal for the radio to modulate. So the combination of those two things, I think, is probably what you're all hearing, is a significant improvement over what I was doing. So that's all I have for this evening. So Matt, I'll say thanks for taking the net. It's extremely dependable, reliable, and we really appreciate it. So we'll say 7-3 to everybody. Hopefully we'll see you next month. Same time, same channel. God willing, and the signal guys. 89, we love you, Matt.
All right, thank you, Dale. And it sure is nice to be able to hear you again. It's been a couple of years. And I do suspect it is the microphone and probably the settings in the radio, probably not the radio power. Because your signal level here, I guess I don't have a real fine measurement, but it does look exactly the same as it did before. So whatever it is, it's working good. Hopefully that keeps up. I'll say 7-3 to you, and I think I forgot to say 7-3 to Steve, so I will. But otherwise, I will say this concludes the 2 a.m. net. Feel free to rag chew on this frequency after my transmission. We will meet again on the 11th of June. Until then, this is KC9UDX 7-3, and good night.
Matt, thank you. Good on working on the accordion. Hopefully start in on some more polka shows. Didn't get the Dells this weekend because I was working at ski hill stuff. 73 and 9 FSC.
Yeah, that's a phrase I never thought I'd ever hear or use. I printed out a manual for my accordion.
What if it was off a PDF? It's even rarer as the sheet music for your concertina, but yes. Only on this net.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of interested in the radio station over in Detroit. My daughter lives in Detroit, so we're over there every few months, and I'm kind of curious what that might be.
Let's see if I can find that text I sent my buddy here, and maybe it'll give me okay, well, I sent this text. It was text messaging and then messenger. Messenger. Give me a second for the slowest phone in the county there. Get the stuff going. But yeah, very cool Art Deco stuff, and if the rates were the same as some of some property in Detroit, man, that'd be a heck of a club station for a ham group. But somebody was talking. They said somebody was talking about putting a restaurant in there, and that didn't take off. Some of it does look like, some of it's really cool, tower with the lightning bolts off of it, but some of that looks like it was a painting